Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We had a bit of a rough run last time as we were coming down here to try taking care of these various areas that Ekondio told us about. Swamp Witch's hut was pretty rough. We ended up getting in quite a bit of trouble and Lindsay even teleported away. So my thoughts for now is that we've got kingdom management I want to deal with. So part of me is thinking, I guess let's read this. Build points are the barony's main resource. They are required for settlement upgrades, construction project management, and so on. The barony's treasury weekly income is 30 BP, sent by Jamandi Aldori from Brevoy. Apart from that, your territories have their own individual income, which consists of their basic income plus other BP sources. Basic income depends on your barony's stats. Each rank adds 1 BP per point to that weekly income, but the total a rank contributes to basic income cannot exceed the profitability of your economy. Example, the barony's economy rank equals 3, and it adds 3 BP to the weekly income. The population rank equals 5, but it cannot add more than 3 BP to the weekly income due to the barony's economy. All the BP sources, such as trade agreements, are added to the basic income as is. Half the barony's income, except the initial 30 BP, is sent to Brevoy. Oh, I don't like that. You will be able to claim independence from Brevoy to retain the full BP income, but lose the initial 30 BP income later during the game. So right now, while they are giving us 30 BP every week, I guess that makes sense. They're taking half of our profit in taxes, presumably. See, the point is we are, to some extent, our own region. Like, we are not under Brevoy. So the fact that they were taking taxes from us feels bad, but since they are paying us to help us get up and running, I guess it makes sense. But at some point, once we're making enough that we don't need that initial 30, like if we make enough on the side on our own, particularly like if our half that we're paying them is over the 30 they give us, then certainly it's time to cut our losses. Okay, so trade taxes. Some half-elf trading fabric in the capital discovered a loophole lot. Right, I recall that. And we triumphed. Not just succeeded, but a triumph. Reasonable changes in legislation made it possible not only to cover the loophole, but also to replenish the losses of the treasury. Thank you, Christian. Gaining us 3 loyalty. Or he has 3... No, I think this means we gain 3 loyalty. Haven't quite figured out the UI here. So, yeah, as I was saying, one of the things I want to do regarding the kingdom management is going back to mods. So looking in the bag of tricks, which has so many different options, most of them are quite cheaty, and so I don't want to do them. But looking at the kingdom option, there is an option to instant kingdom events. And for me, one of the things I've been disliking is the time commitment for some of these events. The ones that they just progress on their own, I don't mind too much, but some of the ideas of, like, what was it? Rebuilding the temple that cost 60 days of just having one of my advisors stuck. Feels really bad because if we get an event or a problem or something that advisor has to be the one to deal with, we're just screwed. And I know that's sort of the point, is that there's a balance. But I'm playing this game because I want to see all the things, I want to do all the things, I want to succeed. And long times doesn't feel good to me. So I'm going to turn on instant kingdom events. Some people might hate it. I'm also tempted to force success triumph. I noticed that we weren't always succeeding, even though I have the always succeed on skill checks. It's because it's a separate thing here. And I'm tempted, but I'm not going to do that yet. So does that complete the things that are in progress? It doesn't. It just means that everything else will be instant. So one of the things I want to do and have been wanting to do for ages is this rank up. But it takes 14 days. Did that actually work? Let's save the game, since I added that effect. Start the project. No, it is showing 14 days. Or no, maybe it did just resolve? I think it did just resolve. Okay, good. It temporarily showed the 14 days, but then it went away. So that is working. And I don't have to just keep waiting for us to get a free moment that I can have Tristan work on this. He can just work on it. So that finally allows loyalty to reach rank 2. Unfortunately, our economy is rank 1, so as they already told us, I'm not getting the extra BP weekly for that. But oh well. It means his stats are going to be higher and we'll have a better chance of succeeding on his events. Yeah, it is still showing up here. It's obviously things are a little bit bugged because we're not supposed to be doing it like that. So what do we have events-wise that we need to deal with? An important visitor has arrived in the castle and demands an audience at once. We'll be heading there in a moment. It's time to discuss the events related to the Bald Hilltop. Alright, we'll do that as well. Troll sightings. It's a problem, so we have to resolve this one. Should be attended to by the 1st of month 8. That's actually really close. Requires 28 days to solve, and we have to have it done within the next, week. Bands of marauding trolls have been seen throughout the region. The people are frightened and beg for protection. Castle is busy for a period of time, for a week. We have slightly over a week, so it's fine, in theory. 3 merchants from Absalom arrive in the region. They're ready to do business with the barony, if their conditions are met. So we could send Valerie on this one. She only has a 50% chance to succeed. And then a mysterious cult promoting idleness and debauchery has emerged in the region. That this deprivation must be stopped. This is a problem. And again, we could put Valerie on it for 61%. She strives to follow the letter of the law, and I'm worried that she'll be like, well, there's nothing actually illegal about what they're doing. So even though it's, occult and depraved, it's totally fine. Let them continue. I don't know. I wish you guys would finish. Particularly you. Like our military advisor, we need on a lot of things. And then rebuilding the temple is for Jod, but he's not available either. Okay, let's go to our throne room and see what's going on. Because we have 2 people that demand an audience. I should also level up my other characters, particularly the ones that are advisors. That is a huge wolf. Is that my wolf? I think at certain levels they do grow in size. So it's probably either my wolf or Eken's wolf. And it's just increased in size with our recent level up. The man before you reeks of vanity. His black hair is curled, styled, and generously waxed from the hair atop his head to the points of his mustache. His cheeks and forehead are powdered white, giving him a pallid look. His hand rests casually on the golden hilt of his rapier. Stefano Moscani. As he approaches, a mean, sly smile appears on his face, clearly practiced and prepared in advance. Ah, the ruler of this barony. I'm flattered by your attention. Sir Stefano Moscani of Patax at your service. The man performs a derisive bow. What brings a Pataxian noble to my barony? What news of Patax? I don't like the direction this conversation is taking. Saying that when all he's done is introduce himself. Fantastic. What brings a Pataxian noble to my barony? I was just traveling back home to glorious Patax after paying visit to Restov, all in service to King Castruccio Iravetti. I thought I might take a day to visit the capital of Patax as a bold new neighbor. Sir Stefano sniffs, then grins. I must say, I really should have spared myself the trouble. It's hardly worth seeing. It's brand new. It takes time, dude. Lawful good. I'm always open to criticism so long as it's fair and reasonable. It's a reasonable answer. A 5-year-old could tell you're deliberately trying to offend me, Sir Stefano. Perhaps you could just tell us directly what it is you came here for. Chaotic neutral. I'd watch my tone were I you, lest I send you back to Patax sooner than you'd planned. Or neutral evil. I'd watch my tone with were I you, lest I send you back to Patax in a box, or perhaps several boxes. A 5-year-old could tell you're deliberately trying to offend me, Sir Stefano. Perhaps you could just tell us directly what it is you came here for? Sir Stefano stares at you and snorts. You know, the initial goal of my visit was to take measure of your so-called barony, to see if you had anything of value to offer Patax. And do you know what I found? Nothing. You have absolutely nothing to offer. Sir Stefano continues on without giving you a chance to respond. Military, weak. Culture, weak. Economy, weak. You'd best pray to all the gods that my king already doesn't declare war on you. On the other hand, maybe you should pray he conquers you. This mess of a barony could use a proper king. Again, we're brand new. It takes time to set things up. And I think we're doing pretty good for having it for like a month. Perhaps there's a touch of truth to your words, but my barony is still very young. Everything will be different soon. I mean, so pray that he doesn't declare war on us. If we have nothing of value, which is what he's claiming, why would anyone declare war on us? It would cost them resources to claim worthless land with nothing to offer. The only reason you would declare war is if there is something here that they wanted. No matter how weak my barony may be, you have no right to speak to me in such a tone. Sir Stefano, please be frank with me. Have you ever had the pleasure of being acquainted with the hooves of a jackass? Other than your own feet, I mean. Wow. Or neutral evil. Another word and I'll send you to the gallows. We're not going to just kill him because he's insulting us. I'm actually going to go with the neutral good option. Perhaps there's truth to your words, but my barony is still very young. Everything will be different soon. I think that's the most truthful, and I don't want to just immediately threaten him, even though he is very rude. If anything ever changes here, it'll be the number of dung flies, and that will only grow. Ah, well, I shan't continue this slaughter. No use battling someone who can't even fight back. All the best. Sir Stefano performs a mocking bow. So he was one of the people demanding an audience just to tell us how little he thinks of our barony? Huh. Your Grace, we are victorious. We fought off the spider invasion and defeated the strange dryad who led them. As a sign of gratitude, your subjects have a special reward for you. 2,800 gold. Nice. I wonder what this flood of spiders truly caused by that curse. I mean, the curse must be ancient and very ominous. The spiders were definitely scary as well, but they weren't ancient and ominous. I agree with Lindsay. This does seem strange. Seems more like the plot of an insane dryad than a true curse. Then how can we explain the dismal atmosphere on the bald hilltop? The pressure both of us felt there, Jihad. Maybe the curse drove the poor dryad insane, causing her to lead this spider invasion into the barony. Tristan shakes his head incredulously. In any case, I have alarming news. As soon as the spider invasion was over, I visited the bald hilltop again. It's grown quiet once more, and just as gloomy as before. I don't think the curse is broken, just laying low, like a monster that rests before it feeds again. What, again? How much time do we have? Want to deal with this problem once and for all? What do you recommend? Or let's just prepare for the next attack. Again? I'm sorry for bringing the bad news. Unfortunately, we failed to defeat this curse for good. I mean, all we did was kill a couple of spiders and one dryad. That's pretty clear that wouldn't have defeated the curse for good. How much time do we have? Oh, a fair amount. I'd say half a year, or even more. Now that the bald hilltop is quiet again, I can barely feel its evil will. I'm sure we will have enough time to prepare for the next attack. I want to deal with the problem once and for all. What do you recommend? Yes, let's level the bald hilltop to the ground and put an end to the curse. That is an option. I'm not going to say it's a good option, Lindsay, but it's an option. I doubt we will be able to defeat it in such a straightforward fashion. The heart of the curse is undoubtedly centered on the bald hilltop, but the spiders appeared all throughout the barony. I don't think we are going to do any damage to the curse by destroying the hilltop. I would expect exactly the opposite. We'd only provoke it into attacking again, immediately on the heels of the last. No, the best we can do for now is make sure we're prepared for the next attack. Don't be such a pessimist, Tristan. We might truly be able to overcome this curse, but only by studying it thoroughly. Your Grace, I will gather all the information available on this situation and get to work. Sounds good. Well, let's prepare for the next attack. Tristan nods. Very wise. If only we knew more about the curse, we might figure out some way to fight it. Well, that's why we need to research it. Lindsay frowns. I don't understand. I spoke to the locals. They never had any spider invasion before, and nothing ever happened on the bald hilltop before either. Now both spiders and the curse right when the new barony appears in the Stolen Lands. All of this seems highly coincidental. Yeah, probably someone is taking an ancient curse and bending it or using it how they want to deal with the fact that we're here. But it doesn't seem like it's just a ancient curse that suddenly activated on its own at this moment. And yeah, the spiders seem like a side thing that someone just did while taking advantage of the curse, or the curse took advantage of them, or something. Alright, so we have talked to the priest, get ready for anything. Well, that's certainly a tough challenge. So yeah, we should level up these characters that are behind. Particularly any of them that are advisors, because their ability to do their advising is based on their stats. And so the higher I can get their stats through level ups, the better off they'll do. So, yeah, I'm going to pause and go through everyone's level ups. So meet back in a little bit. So for Lindsay's 7th level, she gets a feat. I chose Spell Penetration just to help overcome spell resistance. And then 3 new spells. Grease is fine, but then 2 3rd level spells. I chose Delay Poison Communal because we need more options of that, because we didn't have it in the last area. And then also Haste. Getting that to be more available as well is going to be great. And her Bardic Performance changes to a move action instead of standard. That's nice. So Harem only got really one choice, and that was feet, and I gave him Outflank like all of my melee characters. Just going to be good to get that on as many people as possible. Yeah, he's got a few new spells he gained at this level that are going to be pretty powerful. Restoration, not just lesser restoration. Crusader's Edge is good at dealing damage to evil outsiders. If we run into a lot of those, that could be good. Haven't looked through all of them, but yeah, a decent level up for him. Octavia's 2 levels behind, so for her 6th level, I gave her just Haste and Slow. Both are going to be good spells to have available. And leveled her up as an Arcane Trickster again. Let's deal with her next level. For Octavia's 7th level, I gave her Spell Penetration as her feat, and then for her 2 spells, Fireball and Sea Invisibility Communal. She's mainly going to be focused on doing ray attacks, because that's going to benefit from the sneak attack. She also gets impromptu sneak attack, so for a 2nd round per day, she can get a sneak attack even when she hasn't done anything to earn it, which is nice. And yeah, just having Sea Invisibility Communal would be nice to have on hand if we need it. For Canera, I gave her the fire as her element, so her 2nd element is also fire. That means she's now got her Blue Flame Blast, which takes burn, but now does even more damage, I guess. Not really sure exactly how that works, but I think that's the intent, is it takes burn, but then it's using fire and fire to be a stronger fire. Not sure. And then Weapon Focus as her feat with her Kinetic Blast. Didn't realize there was Kinetic Blast as an option, so glad I've got that now. Tristan was also down 2 levels, so for his 6th level, all he really got was this Healer's Blessing ability that treats all of his healing spells as if they were empowered, so they increase the amount of healing by 50%, which is going to be great if I use him, and I probably should. For his 7th level, he gets Spell Penetration as a feat, always good to have on all of your casters. I don't know how much he's going to be offensive, which is the main purpose of Spell Penetration, but I think he does have some attacking spells. I don't really remember, we haven't used him much. And then he got the same sorts of spells that Harem got, because they both are 7th level clerics. That's it for him. Jaethal was also down by 2 levels, so for her 6th level, she gets Outflank as a new ability, and then yeah, she got a new Teamwork feat for her 6th level. That's what I'm trying to say, and so I chose Outflank. And then Lesser Restoration is her new spell. What is Judgment Smiting? I didn't actually read that one. 6th level, the Inquisitor's weapons count as 1 alignment type for the purpose of bypassing damage reduction. Okay. That's cool. And let's get on to her next level. For Jaethal's 7th level, I gave her the Cleave feat because it seems fitting since she uses a scythe. Cleaving through enemies should be a thing. And then for spells, Doom is a 1st level spell that doesn't seem terribly interesting, but it can make a enemy shaken for for minutes per level, they get will saves. I don't know if they're making will saves every turn or how exactly that shakes out, but the point is that it makes an enemy shaken. I think Valerie's abilities, like her feat tree for what is it called? Dazzling Display. She gets benefits if she is attacking shaken enemies. So this would be an easy way to get specific enemies into a shaken state, which could be pretty good, assuming they have a low will defense. And then inflict serious wounds just so she can heal herself. And prayer gives our whole party a +1 luck bonus, which is pretty good. And foes take a -1 luck penalty on attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, saves, and skill checks. It's really good. For Reg's 6th level, I gave him Enduring Blade. Normally he can spend an arcane point from his pool to increase his weapons stats by +1 for a minute. If he spends a second point, this will allow him to be the number of minutes per level. So for 1 point, he gets 1 minute. For 2 points, he'll get 7 minutes once I level him up to level 7. And that seems useful. And then there wasn't any really good second level spells for him, so I just chose Web. We might find a use for it. So for Reg's 7th level, he gained Arcane Medium Armor, which allows him to wear medium armor without the arcane spell failure chance, which is great. So that's what we have here. I gave him Outflank, of course. And then for, I guess he automatically gained Dispel Magic as well, which could be useful. And then for the spells I chose, Burning Hands seems fine to just have as available. And then Haste and Displacement are both going to be pretty good. If we can get Haste on enough people, then I don't have to worry about not having it available when I want it, since it's a party-wide buff that's pretty powerful. And that is all of our levels, finally. So, let's go back to Kingdom Affairs and see if we can deal with any of the events that we had people... Like the ones that are in progress. Did they progress at all? No. If I wait a day, maybe that'll get them to tick forward. Or maybe it's just all new ones are going to be automatic. So we've got research into the nature of the Bald Hilltop, which we need Jod for. We've got rebuilding the temple, obviously can't do at the moment. Proposal for consideration. Right, the merchants want to do business if we can meet their requirements. And the mysterious cult problem that I could send Valerie to. It's a problem I'm willing to put a crisis point into it. So here's hoping. Also, do we have any new advisor slots? We don't. Did Valerie's thing end immediately? It did. With a triumph. I definitely didn't click that we auto triumph. But we got 2 triumphs in a row, which feels weird. Mysterious cult promoting idleness and debauchery has emerged. Yielding to reason, that's where... Okay. Yielding to reason, the locals handed over the cult leaders into the custody of the regent. Without its head, the sect is doomed to die out. Excellent. And that gives us 3 more community. So we're 1 point away from being able to level it up to the next rank. Same with military. Okay. Good job, Valerie. Now, we do need to rest, because I think we're all still in a dying state, and maybe that will move things forward with the Kingdom Affairs. But I don't know. Man, our wolf is huge. We could probably ride it into combat, except obviously I don't want to do that. Because we don't want to be in the front lines of combat. But it's an option. Does anyone here have anything to say? Actually, no. What about the storyteller? We collected a bit more treasure. Before we go back to seeing the kingdom stuff again, I brought some relics. Are any worthy of a story? How interesting. May I, your grace? He touches the items from your pack. Pendant of Torag. Yep, we've seen this many times. He gives us 400. The Token of the Dryad, he gives us 1500. Paladin War Dog tags, we've seen that, 600. Oh, now here's something truly impressive. These items once belonged to a dwarven smith, and they wish to tell us their story. So we did find the final piece we needed. No, we didn't, but too much has been lost. Too much forgotten. So we need one more of those. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, storyteller. So that's got to be somewhere still. Again, commenting on her beauty is something she hates. I'm going to leave that line alone. Alright, did sleeping cause these to tick forward? Yes. No, that's the one we'd already seen. There we go. So the Troubled Lands opportunity failed. Okay. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I didn't tick the thing that auto-succeeded. Part of me wants to, of course. Patrols sent by the general were of no use. The people of the stolen lands still have no regard for the law. This one's still ongoing. I don't know. But it means we can now put our military advisor to use. How long is this one going to take to finish? 45 days. Researching the Curse of Davik Nettle. Can you finish that one up soon? It thinks you're still involved with Troubled Lands. Troubled Lands shows it already failed. So... yeah. Can you not be involved in that anymore? Obviously things are not working out quite right because the mod isn't... the mod is trying to do things the game didn't intend. So something's gone wrong. Alright, so be it. Hopefully at some point that'll clear out and we can reassign him to a new task. But I think that's everything here in our throne room. Do I have a bunch of treasure to sell? I might. Probably do. And I probably have a bunch of treasure I should drop off in our chest if I'm not going to sell it, rather than continuing to carry it around. So, ooh, medium armor, right. I could probably give that to Reg, because I'm sure he's in light armor at the moment, and he is. So you're currently wearing AC 5. This will be AC 8. Excellent. Now back to here. Probably don't need all of these, but we'll just throw some of them into the chest in case I find someone later that could use them. We'll keep all the wands. You never know. I have 49 meat. Wow. And 21 port. Okay, maybe that's what's weighing me down, my 23 potatoes. Probably should just sell some of those. Okay, then we still need to go to a shop because some of this can actually be sold. That'll free up some carrying capacity.
I do what I must.
Alright, shopkeep. Got more stuff to sell to you. 1,500 gold. I will take it. Thank you. Anything of interest? Not particularly. Adamantine full plate plus 1 is certainly something. 18,000 gold though. Maybe not. Let's see. I'm guessing no one else around town has anything to say to us. Where was Kinera's home? Also, Ekandaya, we haven't talked to you in town yet. Ekandaya looks somewhere beyond you. Forgive me, friend. My thoughts are on Kargad right now. Tell me about yourself. He turns his eyes on you. Don't want to break up the past? Not now, when the wound still bleeds. Must kill Kargad and regain my peace. Alright, we'll talk later. Yeah, where is the twins' home? We know. I mean, we do know. We've met her before. But I don't remember which house was hers. I kind of want to say it was up north, so it's probably either this one or that one. Like east, north, or northern side of the map, to my mind. So we'll go to the one we're right next to first, just in case. Definitely not this one. There is lootables, though. Because it's locked. How dare you lock your things up? No, it's not this one either. Clearly, I don't remember. I don't know.
Being willing.
This looks like it's a pretzel store. Odd. Oh, this is a house. Thought that was the tavern. Maybe that's why I'm getting confused. Right, no, the tavern is off the map. So no, it's definitely this one. Just curious if she has anything to say, since we're sort of dating her. The Tiefling girl taps her foot irritated, then leans towards you and whispers loudly, "Did you see that? My sister has all 3 of her empty-headed friends right on our tail. They used to follow her around in Kadira. They know both of us very well. Couldn't we just send them away somewhere? Oh, and by the way, hello. Hi. I want to ask you a few questions about your past." "That's reasonable. Who wouldn't want to know about their subjects and companions?" "Tell me about you and your sister from the beginning." "Well, we've already done that, but they aren't, like, grayed out." "The beginning of the story is quite unexciting. My sister and I were born in Kadira, a place most unsuitable for tieflings." "Yeah, we know this." "Superstitious, stand in the way of the goal." Maybe this doesn't seem familiar, but what is truth generally speaking? I've always known what I was worth and what lot I deserved. If superstitions stand in the way of achieving a goal, there's no reason to shed a tear. Better to use those same superstitions to your own ends. I must say, in Kadira, they idolize Asmars almost as passionately as they hate tieflings, so I thought that with little effort, I could pass as one, and my mastery of fire could be mistaken as a sign of Serenray's goodwill. Of course, a masquerade of that sophistication requires a little outside help, and I found it. I made a contract with a resourceful devil who called himself the Forefather. He wove an illusion over me and my sister, hiding our tiefling features from everyone. I hope this doesn't shock you. It's not that I wanted to bind myself to a powerful and devious creature, but what choice did I have? To wash bowls at a caravanserai until the end of my days? That wouldn't just be a waste of the priceless gem that I am. I'd be a burden with caring for Kaliki, that naive walking virtue, who is totally unfit for a hard life. Contract with a devil that cannot stand. Chaotic good. You tried to fix an injustice that came upon you as a curse from the cradle. That can be understood and forgiven. Yeah? I mean, lying isn't great, but finding a way around... If you live in a society where your race makes everyone hate you, then finding a way to hide that is entirely reasonable. No one is inherently good or evil, only our intentions are. Or I hope you made the most of that contract, that's what matters. You tried to fix an injustice that came upon you as a curse from the cradle. That can be understood and forgiven. I'm just the incarnation of goodness and innocence, aren't I? Ha! Anyway, it's all in the past now. The contract was annulled by my death. Now I'm free to live as I wish. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. Sure. If you come back, I guess, yeah, if the contract was until your death, then death and resurrection solves that. Seems like you would write a contract better because resurrection should be fairly easy in this world. But again, resurrection is common in D&D and Pathfinder. Not common, but it's a thing. But in all video games, they always treat death as like a final thing. And they had to go through this weird loophole to try and get her sister back. And it's like, why not just save up money, go to a priest, and get a resurrection? I don't know. What was the agreement you made with the devil? I'd have to spend the whole evening telling you all the details. Contracts require thoughtfulness and accuracy, especially ones like this, but to put it simply, I was to do as he commanded, and in return, he granted me a powerful illusion, which would make my sister and I indistinguishable from Emberkin, descendants of Peri. Peris are a race of celestials native to the good-aligned outer planes. They are also often found in the company of mortals on the material plane. Believed to be the descendants of fallen angels, Peris do penance for their ancestors' sins, but they can earn a place in paradise. Before they can earn a place in paradise. As a result, Peris work tirelessly to aid and support good heroes of the mortal realms in a never-ending battle against evil. Peris hate the evil fiends known as divs, who constantly seek to ruin the good works of mortals. Emberkin and Asimar are descendants of Peris. The contract included a number of caveats and limitations. In particular, the tasks the devil would give me could do me no harm. The contract didn't involve my soul. On the contrary, it bound me until my death, but no longer. What assignments did the devil give you? You'd be amazed. They included fighting evil. The Forefather comes from a line of apostate devils, or Diemavigas. They live for one goal only, to turn people's souls away from serving any god but Asmodeus. Knows the King of Hell, Master of Witches, Princes of Law. Our Demaviga made a nest for himself in Qadira long ago, finding a special pleasure in enslaving the servants of Sarenrae. Nothing helps to turn souls away from a faith better than fanatics of the faith. You have no idea, Melandra, how often a zealous servants of the good in their struggles against evil has pushed others in the arms of that very same evil. That's why the Forefather sent me to serve the followers of the cult of the Dawnflower. Unlike the old church of Sarenrae, these cultists celebrate the goddess more for her warrior aspect than for her mercy. My duties included seeking out secret cults of demon and daemon worshippers and other springs of evil in that sunswept land of Qadira, real or imaginary. Questions, suspicions, public trials, one or two exemplary executions, and fear sank its claws into the hearts of the weak and doubtful. How can a good goddess allow this? What if I'm next? Those who entertained such doubts would soon hear a knock on their door from a messenger of hell, offering a simple solution, protection and prosperity in return for their souls. That's how I aided the legions of hell, by working under Sarenrae's sunny banner. Demon and daemon. I think demons are chaotic evil, planar aligned. Daemons are neutral evil. And then devils are lawful evil. That's the three primary groupings of the evil realms. But yeah, the name is similar enough that it's sort of confusing. What was it like living disguised as Azamars? I say as an Azamar. We've lived for a few years under this disguise, gaining a certain status, affluence, and crowds of gullible suitors. In time, I found a patron from among the followers of the cult of the Dawnflower, a man of great wealth with a personal army of mercenaries who roamed the lands of Qadira night and day, seeking out monsters and those who worshipped them. I quickly became his confidant and joined that army, all as the forefather desired. Perhaps this is why the devil agreed to give us the appearance of Azamars. Everything was going perfectly, but then Kaliki, that silly child, got herself mixed up with a band of Tiefling renegades who were too cowardly and stupid to achieve anything in their lives by their own wits. They organized something like a secret society and gathered in the evenings in their huts. They spoke of opening everyone's eyes and making them treat the outcast with dignity. Sooner or later, they would have done something stupid and gotten themselves caught, and brought my sister down with them, so I helped them a little, and put my patron's people on their track. If only I could have kept Kaliki from her foolishness. On the night of the raid, for some reason I told her the truth. I thought I could explain to her that her actions were threatening our secret. I thought she would see reason. But nothing works out as planned. She hurried off to warn her friends and fell into the hands of the cult of the Dawnflower. Her disguise was unmasked, and with it my own as well. Oh, sands and skies, I can't imagine the rage my noble patron felt. His Azamar confidant turned out to be a treacherous tiefling. I had no interest in learning how far he'd go in his rage, and immediately set off to flee. Alas, as soon as they found out what happened, the remaining members of a cult of demon worshippers, who I'd once helped to disperse, quickly tracked me down. They summoned a soul eater who cut my life short, and my story was at its end. Tell me how you were resurrected. What is a soul eater? I'm curious about that, but there's no highlight text to read more. Tell me about how you were resurrected. You'd better ask Kaliki about that. When she learned of my death, she pleaded to Nethys, the god of unparalleled powers, and his herald agreed to return me to life, but in the state we're in now, only one of us can be in the material plane at a time. Meanwhile, the other sleeps in a special demiplane. And what happened to Javandi's mansion? You know the fun part of our story. When Nethys returned me to life, the poor hungry soul eater started following my trail again. He cannot discover me, so long as I live disguised as Kaesi, but he keeps trying. That's one reason why my sister and I never stay in one place for long. We move north, living here and there until we reach Restov. Lady Jamandi's offer was simply too tempting. Bring some pathetic bandits to heal and receive a barony in return? Of course, Kaesi could never be a baroness, but the adventure itself was intriguing opportunity. Besides, I was in desperate need of a distraction. So I showed up at the reception, made some valuable connections. Canara locks eyes with you. I witnessed the attack of the unlucky assassins, but then, unfortunately, missed out on all the fun. The moment I ran through the fire at the mansion, I was carried away to the demiplane, and Kaliki came forth with the consequences. You know the rest. Alright, well, I found out what I wanted, thank you. I'd like to know more about you. What already? How do you resist my charms? Yeah, I want to know more about you. Of course, many do. How does it work? You're living in turns. By the power of Nethys, my sister and I cannot meet, for as soon as one of us appears in the material plane, the other one is immediately spirited away to our demiplane. There we sleep until it's time to switch back. The demiplane, by the way, is full of elemental energy, which is wonderful for restoring our strength. Restoring your strength, does that mean that if you're injured and you switch places, when you switch back, you're healed? It's a pity this ability came after we'd paid such a heavy price. I would have avoided my painful death, and I long to see my sister again, and singe her hair to show my gratitude for everything. Despite her vitriol, Canara sighs, with sorrow and seeming tenderness. The demiplane nourishes us and keeps us from all kinds of trouble. But the price, it's hard to live and make plans when at any moment you can be pulled from reality, only to return after a few days or even weeks. I'm glad that, thanks to you, we now have at least learned to control the process a little. Do you like it in the Stolen Lands? I prefer large and bustling cities to backwaters, but on the other hand, the chance to build up a whole state from nothing, it's so tempting. I don't like chaos, though I've learned that at times I won't be able to play by the rules, so here's my answer. With some effort and right investments, your dominions might become something someday. And tell me about your sister. We were at our 8th summer when Kaliki, the spring of my solace, got angry at me and chucked a bunch of desert thistles into my hair. I had to cut them out afterwards. That's what you have to suffer if life rewards you with a sibling. Though I should say, that very evening I burned her favorite dress. With great trouble comes great satisfaction. Alright, found out what I wanted. I want to talk to you about what it means to be a tiefling. Admit it, you like my horns, or is it the tail? I do, the horns and tail make you special. How are tieflings born? Which outsider do you think you and your sister descended from? I do, the horns and the tail, they make you special. And that's it? Canara slowly sways her tail. I've been known to spark curiosity. How are tieflings born? We are born if an ancestor laid with a powerful and evil outsider, be it a devil, a demon, or some other dark creature. Many mortals do this, believe me, either for power or pleasure. This heritage can be hidden for many generations, and it can manifest in many ways. It's difficult to find two similar tieflings. Which outsider do you and your sister descend from? From a devil. I can even guess which one. Of all the infernal beings worshipped in Qadira, the whore queen Mahathala is the most venerated, secretly of course. Servants of her court frequent these lands, and they leave trails. Okay, everything's clear, thank you. So the horns, or the tail? Tell me about Qadira. Qadira is part of the Padishah Empire of Kilesh, a great thriving state. Don't think me rude, but the northern states are but a pale shadow of my homeland. Only Taldor, at its height, could compete with us, though it's long since lost its power. My land is wealthy, powerful, and full of opportunities for anyone cunning enough to seize them. It's a pity they're all devoted to Sarenrae and the whole array of superstitions that go along with it. Look at your golden-haired boy priest, and you'll see at once what exactly makes living in Qadira so unbearable, despite all its grandeur. Canara wrinkles her nose. Don't you think the disk of the eclipses reacted strangely? It did, to some extent, yeah. Maybe. My sister and I have tried to figure out what happened, but failed. We need a real specialist in this sort of magic. A specialist like I can't even imagine. I can definitely say that the disk hasn't been destroyed. It seems to have become a part of my connection with my sister, helping us to move between the material plane and our demiplane. We'll continue to explore this new ability. Maybe we'll learn more at some point. Tell me, what made you stay here after we found your relic? A fair question. You see, there's an important detail about how I died and returned to life. I was killed by a repulsive creature called a Soul Eater. After a spellcaster aims at its victim, the wretch will chase it tirelessly and endlessly. But when I was returned to life, the Soul Eater lost its prey. But it's still chasing me, and might show up at any time. It would be much easier for me if I could meet it here, surrounded by experienced monster hunters, ready to protect a poor fugitive from danger. I won't let anyone hurt you. We'll deal with the beast if it shows up. Again, I wish we knew more about what a Soul Eater was. The lives of my companions is more to me than can be expressed in words. I will try to help you. And why, I wonder, should I protect you? I won't let anyone hurt you. We'll deal with the beast if it shows up. I like your confidence. I have a penchant for the strong and confident. I'd like to talk about your sister. With that stiff? Canara wrinkles her nose, but seems strangely saddened. Very well, I'll get her so long. Oh, I thought it was talk about your... No, talk to your sister. Oops. We could have finished our conversation. My bad. Tiefling girl greets you warmly, but seems a little distracted. I'm glad to see you at my hearth. She bites her lip and adds in a whisper, have you seen the sweet teeth? I can't get them out of the house, and I'm so scared they'll suspect something and reveal our secret. Canara's and mine. I wish I could keep them busy somewhere out of town, but anyway, welcome. So both of them don't want the sweet teeth, the trio, downstairs. Excellent. I'd like to ask a few questions about your past. Ask me anything. We owe you so much, and being open with you is the least I can do to repay you. Tell me your story of you and your sister from the beginning. My sister and I were born in Qadira, the country of radiant Sarenrae, where we tieflings are not very welcome. But for my sister, this was more a challenge than a barrier. She wanted respect, power, and wealth, things we were unlikely to get being who we are, but she found a way. The people of Qadira revere the blood of the skies, and with the same fanaticism with which they distrust the blood of the hell. Asmar, especially Emberkin, are welcome guests in any house. Pretend to be one of them, and all doors are open to you. I didn't want to participate in this masquerade, but my sister insisted. We played upon our resistance to fire and her gift of controlling this force of nature. Both are often taken as signs of Serenai's goodwill. But it was not enough to entirely hide our essence and pass as an Emberkin, and Kinara asked for help. She asked for a master of deception and illusion. Kaliki frowns. She obviously wishes to get through this part of the story as quickly as possible. We left our native desert, crossed half the country to avoid accidentally crossing paths with anyone from our tribe, and set off for a new life in a new skin. What made you flee Kadira? Trouble, Kaliki says quietly. My sister and I took different paths. Kinara was able to earn the trust of a powerful patron, one of Serenai's fanatics, a member of the cult of the Dawnflower. His mercenaries hunted down secret cults and monsters day and night. Meanwhile, I found a group of castaways who reminded me of my sister and I as children, tieflings and genie spawn. We gathered in secret to share our sorrows and dream of finding a place in the sun. Time passed, and these gatherings became more bitter. We yearned to prove that monster blood does not make us monsters. We spoke of how we could unite and enter the great games of Kadiran aristocracy, supporting those who were ready to accept us as equals and bring down their opponents. We planned to use me as a cover, a beautiful Emberkin who would be the voice of the castaways. The girl lowers her head. One evening, my sister came to me, full of careless grace. She told me that there was to be a raid on our secret meeting that very night. I had to stay home and not even think of warning the others. It wasn't hard to guess how she found out. The raid was to be led by the followers of the cult of the Dawnflower, fanatics who fancied themselves cleansing flames, saving the world from evil. Kinara's patron first among them. At that moment, I realized my sister loved me so much that she was ready to set aside her aspirations and warn me of the danger. But I also realized something else. Kinara was ready to sacrifice any number of innocent lives to get what she wanted. I ran away after yelling in her face that she was a monster. I left to warn my friends. It's the last time I saw my sister alive. I tried to save my friends from the raid, but came face to face with wizards from the cult of the Dawnflower. They were able to dispel the illusion that protected me, and found out I was a tiefling. My secret was revealed along with my sister's. What a shock it must have been for her patron to find out that a clever tiefling was serving at his side disguised as a righteous Azamar. There's no worse deed in Kadira than disgracing your patron. Kinara knew this well and tried to flee, terrified of his wrath, but she couldn't get away. Trouble came to her from a place she didn't expect. Ask her about the details if you want. I lack strength enough to talk about it. The truth is, I betrayed our secret, and my sister died because of it. I was able to bring her back to life, but bitterness has scorched my heart and will be a part of me until my death. I sympathize with both of you. Don't blame yourself. How could you sit at home knowing your friends would be captured and dragged to a torture chamber? Yeah. How could you put the life and safety of your sister at risk for a bunch of troublemakers of all things? No. You and your sister seem to have done everything you could to destroy each other's lives. All that could have been avoided if only you were able to agree. It's a very harsh way of stating it, but also, I think she's lawful good and her sister's chaotic evil. They're going to struggle to reach agreements. It's hard to imagine a more foolish act. It's a sad outcome, but quite predictable. Don't blame yourself. How could you sit at home knowing your friends would be captured and dragged to a torture chamber? I don't know the answer, Melandra, but I do see that my good heart led my sister, jewel of my heart, to her death. I still cannot tell whether I was right or not, or how I would act if faced with a similar choice. I wish Kinara and I were more alike. We nearly destroyed each other after failing to accept each other's wishes and the paths we chose. Or maybe she's chaotic good and her sister's lawful evil. I think they're opposite on the spectrum anyway. Sometimes I feel that life we now live is best we could hope for. We can never meet, can never share each other's sorrows, but at least I don't have to be upset about her cruelty toward others, and she about my softness and recklessness. How did you end up living in turns? After my sister almost got my friends killed, and I in turn brought the wrath of her former patron down upon her, Kinara died as she fled him. In terror, I could only pray to the higher powers, and the Arcanothane, Nethys' herald, answered his prayer. I couldn't believe it when she answered my prayer. She promised to bring Kinara back to life on 2 conditions. We would never be able to meet again, and we must keep secret everything that happened. By Nethys' power, my sister and I received our special connection. We cannot be in the same time and reality simultaneously. While one of us is in the material plane, the other sleeps in a demiplane, one specially created for us. The divine creature made us agree to these mysterious conditions, and what's even more mysterious, we weren't punished when you discovered our secret, but I think I can hear a storm murmuring on the horizon. We might yet have to pay for our faults, but come what may, At least I did everything I could to tear my sister from the arms of death. How did you end up in Jamandi's mansion? Oh, I cannot answer that question in much detail. The Cassie you met at the reception in Restov was Canera. At the time, I'd been sleeping in our demiplane for over a month. It can go on that long? Like, I know they've said days or maybe even weeks, but over a month. I don't even know. I didn't even know my sister wanted to join the expedition that Lady Jamandi was sending. And then suddenly I was thrown out into reality in the middle of a burning mansion with assassins dashing about and the Sword Lord fighting monsters in the Grand Hall. Canara and I usually keep a diary to tell each other in detail what happened during the day, but I didn't exactly have time to read it, and I doubt she had time to write anything during the attack. I ran into the hall and tried to help Jamandi, and then you and your companions appeared. We held back the attack, and then you and Tartuccio began accusing each other of spying. Meanwhile, I still couldn't understand what was happening and where I was. I had to pretend to distrust both sides of your argument, or I might have given myself away too easily, and I had to protect our secret, which was one of the conditions of our agreement with Nethys. You have me racking my brains. A girl shows up, acting like she wants to be my friend, and the next moment turns her nose up like she's seeing me for the first time. It was clear from the very beginning something was up with Cassie. Yeah, seemed friendly, and then suddenly seeing me for the first time. Cassie smiles faintly. Then you can begin to imagine what it's like for us. People approach me all the time and start talking like they're my friends, and I just have to stand there and trying to remember lines from the diary. Is it the gnome with blue hair, a new admirer who has twice given me flowers, or the gnome banker who wishes to discuss investments in the tours of Lebanese mines? I know what I wanted, thank you. Let's talk about how you are now. Leaky smiles faintly, but her eyes remain sad. Ask what you will. Do you worship Nethys? Tell me about him. Nethys is a god of magic. There are no limits to his power. Kaliki speaks with awe. He was born human, but achieved some such unparalleled mastery of magic that he gained divine power. He is the embodiment of paradoxes, contradictions, and making the impossible come true. I called on him at the moment of my greatest need, and he, through his herald, helped me when all the kind and merciful gods fell silent. But I'm no naive worshippers. The gods, especially him, are powerful and unpredictable. Besides, he's hardly interested in my gratitude, but I do honor those who help me. And who is your savior, the Arcanothane? Nethys herald in his creation. She's a living whirlwind of magical energy, an amazing and powerful creature. She often takes interest in the business of mortals and manifests Nethys' will. In our case, I think she has done both. The Arcanothane wanted to intervene and help, but she also told us that Nethys was aware of what happened. It's so strange to think that a deity turned his eyes on you, if only for a moment. And tell me about your sister. A smile, sincere but sad, appears on Kaliki's face. My sister and I were twins, but we're as different as day and night. She was named Canera, which means silent flame in our tribe's language, and I am named Kaliki, silent storm. Canera was born a few minutes before me. I suppose she just elbowed me out of the way in our mother's womb to become the firstborn. Being the first, that's what she always craved. I never felt offended by it, though. Whenever the storm clouds gathered above our heads, heralding danger and trouble, my sister walked forward, one step ahead, tightly holding onto my hand. Alright, found out what I wanted. I want to talk about you and what it means to be a tiefling. Oh, I could tell you a lot about it. How do tieflings come into the world? Or what happens when mortals mix their blood with evil outsiders, mostly demons, daemons, or, as with me and my sister, devils. This heritage can manifest through many generations, and can be a cruel blow to the parents of the tiefling. Kaliki frowns. As you probably know, there's hardly a corner in Galarian where the birth of someone like me is considered a welcome gift. Many think that evil literally runs in tiefling blood, owing to the heritage of their ancestors. Those who think so are both right and wrong. Your fate is not written by your blood alone. Surrendering to the temptation of evil is a choice every tiefling must make for themselves. Alright, I have no more questions about this. As you wish, tell me of Qadira. It's a beautiful land, but quite unlike the Stolen Lands, my sister and I grew up in a place dominated by the desert. I've often heard from travelers that such landscapes depress them, but there's nowhere I'd feel more at home. Sand drifts under the sun, life hiding where you'd never expect it, the lush green of a sudden revealed oasis. They are austere lands, but can be breathtaking. The cities of Qadira are an endless whirlwind of turmoil and bright colors. Some say the heart and essence of every Qadiran city is its temple to Sarenrae, ever since our country was blessed by the radiant goddess. But I'd put it differently. The heart of every city is a noisy market with its tents in every color. you could imagine. Most of the city's life happens at the market. People go there not only to trade, but also to have fun, negotiate, and spin their intrigues. Take away the market, and what's left of Qadira? It's strange what happened with the Disc of the Eclipse. Kaliki nods. Ancient forces can be mysterious. I thought we'd need to spend a lot of time studying the properties of the disc before we learned how to use it, but it just worked as soon as I touched it. If I understand its action correctly, it attuned itself to the connection between the material plane and our demi-plane. Now we can move between them at will, and the rest is handled by our strange interconnection. I step into the demi-plane, and Nethys' power transports Canera from there to the material plane. And why did you decide to remain in my lands? After you found and activated the relic, you could have left. I like living here. For the first time since fleeing Qadira, I feel there's a place in the world I can call home. And besides, Kaliki frowns, I probably should have brought this up myself, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm very, very worried about the forefather, the devil my sister made a contract with long ago in Qadira. Canera thinks he's no longer a threat to us, since her death annulled the contract, but I don't believe such a creature can ever leave us in peace. I'd like there to be someone besides me who I can rely on in case he shows up again. You can rely on me. We'll find a way to deal with the devil. Or it's very arrogant to think I'm going to jump at a chance to protect you. We'll find a way to deal with that devil. If things get bad, we'll have to flee again, or we'll put you and your people at great risk, but I believe it's here that we'll find the strength to face hell's claims on us. Okay, so I can either say goodbye, kick you out, or talk to your sister. I want to see if there was more to say to your sister, because I ended the conversation too quickly. As you wish. Now, thanks to you, we can at least switch when we want to. Kaliki closes her eyes and focuses calling to the other plane. Tiefling girl looks at you from under her lashes, curling a strand of hair around a finger. Of course you recognize me, but I'm Canera. Yes. So, would you like to spend some time together? I want to tell you, we'll have no more intimate encounters from now on. I want you to leave, or thank you. Okay, so all that we missed was an option to spend time together, or end our relationship. We'll spend time together while we're here. You do realize sooner or later, you and I will just burn this house to the ground in the heat of our passion, and then the entire capital. Still half asleep, you slip on your gear and suddenly hear the angry snap of a tail against the bedpost. Looking up, you lock eyes with Kaliki, glowering and embarrassed. That would be embarrassing, because Canera was wanting to keep this a secret from Kaliki. So for her to suddenly appear with us putting on our gear in their bedroom. Oops. Melandra, you and Canera, we suddenly switched tonight. Could you please get dressed faster? Sorry to bother you, I'm leaving. You know I'm a baroness, it's not polite to kick me out when we're in my dominions. Watch your tongue, I don't remember giving you permission to take that tone with me. Sorry to bother you, I'm leaving. If I throw water on you, would it be considered high treason? Kaliki covers her mouth and bursts out laughing. We accidentally switched in our sleep. I almost fell on top of you when I came out of the portal. We've never had such a silly switch before. It was a fine way to wake up for both of us. Well, so long. You almost fell on me. Now that's something I wouldn't mind. So I know the game, from what I've heard, offers an option to romance both of them. And from what I've heard, if you choose one or the other, their ending is sort of negative. I don't know if it's negative, but like their best ending is if you do go for both. To my understanding, I could be wrong, but it makes sense because they're stuck sharing a body and only one of them having romance or trying to have each of them having separate romance partners would just be super messy. So it makes sense since technically they're not sharing a body, they're sharing an existence. Whatever. You almost fell on me. Now that's something I wouldn't mind. You know what? Canera is enough for you. Of course, my sister usually shares everything with me. Oh, what am I saying? That's it. Goodbye, Your Grace. Alright, well that was a ton of talking, but I do think that I didn't get that conversation before, even though I know I've talked to them. So we do have a new quest to find work for the Sweet Teeth. Let's see if you can complete my task. Yeah, look, we have a noble guest, but come to think of it, it's us who are the guests of the Baroness. Anyway, it's a great honor. Let's see if you can complete my task. Order us to go collect the moon from the sky. We can do anything. The gnarl marshes are overgrown. They need to be weeded. Wow. That would be brutal. Let's take some measurements of Lake Silverstep. I wish to know the exact length of its shoreline. Roads through Varnhold to Talon Peak are terribly inconvenient. Try to find a better one past the Shrike Hills. Picket fence's Oleg trading post is tilted. Go there and fix it. So these two just feel like forcing them to do pointless work to get them to leave. This one is probably the same, but theoretically could be good. The picket fence at Oleg's is tilted. Go there and fix it. Seems reasonable. Like, he's helped us, sending people to go help him. I'm fine with that. Tilted. We'll fix it up and paint it in no time. Grabbing their travel bags, the young tieflings run away. Come up with some errands for the Sweet Teeth. Yeah. Wonder if they will have anything to say now that we've found work for their friends. Hello? Can you talk to her? No?
It's time to act.
I think the wolf was trying to talk to her. And no, we have nothing to say about getting work for them. Okay. Then yeah, I think I'm going to end the episode here. It's been a long one for me because I did all the leveling up, but then also all that dialogue. I think it was enjoyable. Next time, I think we will head out and actually do some more combat, maybe? We'll see. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.